Welcome to Suburban Warrior, the podcast that will impact, inspire, and empower you to transform your mindset and become the badass warrior that you are. I'm your host and fellow warrior, Chrissy Pfeiffer, former clinician and corporate marketing exec turned multi-passionate entrepreneur, performance and life coach, and mom to 4 not-so-little warriors. Each week, I will bring you honest conversations with inspiring guests to share their stories of resilience, optimism, success, and simple yet effective strategies so that you transform your thoughts and change your behavior to get the results you want in your life. You will be empowered to take action, warrior up, and believe in you. Let's do this. What's up, my fellow suburban warriors? I am so glad that you're taking the time today for yourself to listen to this podcast because it's going to be a great one. I'm so excited for my friend, entrepreneur, mom, wife, and all around amazing suburban warrior herself to be here with us today to share with us her story. Today, I have with us Lisi Lerch, and let me tell you a little bit about Lisi. After several years of working on Wall Street, Lisi started her company in the spring of 2001 while working full-time in the recruiting office at Cornell University, while her new husband was getting his MBA. Her brand initially offered classic Kentucky Derby hats that she was inspired to create due to the lack of affordable women's hats that she saw in the marketplace. So a few years later, she decided to test the waters and dabble in jewelry making, which became an instant obsession. As her business grew, so did her family. With her first baby on the way and her husband by her side, Lisi Lerch moved to Philadelphia, where her business was a huge success. She expanded her offerings to include a fabulous wool winter hats, in addition to the Kentucky Derby hats that her customers loved. Following this expansion, Lisi was invited to participate in hundreds of trunk shows from New York to Virginia. Although she loved designing hats, they soon became a hassle to travel with due to her growing family. Because of this, Lisi decided to shift gears and focus on creating jewelry, which she discovered was her true passion. She was completely blown away by how well received her jewelry was and how much easier it was to transport. After having her third child, she decided to take her jewelry business to the next level. She started showing at America's Mart in Atlanta, where the management loved her product and soon included her in an exclusive boutique section. From then on, her jewelry business soared. A lover of antique jewelry, Lisi Lerch credits the creative direction of her jewelry to her grandmother's exquisite collection of jewels. Growing up, she was enamored by her grandmother's fascinating jewelry that always had an incredible story behind it. In addition to jewelry, Lisi Lerch now offers apparel and handbags. Welcome to the podcast, Lisi.
Thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be here and honored.
I am so excited to have you here too, because I know it's been 20 years since you started your business. And, for me, it doesn't feel that long. And I'm sure for you, it feels like forever. And I know your business has evolved over the years. I love your fantastic, beautiful, what I would call exquisite jewelry line. And so I'm excited for you to share sort of, what your story is behind building this amazing business. So why don't you just start out by telling us a little bit about yourself and sort of, first tell us a little bit about yourself and what sort of prompted you to start your own business and be an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So it's interesting that you say that it seems like not that long, because I feel the same way. Like, I feel like it's been an eternity, yet the blink of an eye, because for the most part, it's been such an amazing journey. So yeah, I started out right out of college. I moved to New York I grew up in Maryland and I moved to New York, and I worked on Wall Street, and that is where I met my husband. I was in institutional equity sales. And we dated for a few years, then got married. He got his MBA at Cornell. So right after our honeymoon, I always say we went from the beaches of Bora Bora to the gorges of Ithaca, which is not ideal, especially for me.
Just a little different.
Warm weather. Just a tad different.
Yeah.
So then, okay, so we were in Ithaca for 2 years while he was getting his MBA, and I worked in the business school recruiting office, which was really fun because I would help, I would invite some of my Wall Street colleagues up to hook the students at the business school up with jobs. And it was really fun and rewarding in that sense. But I was used to living in Manhattan and working on Wall Street, where moving to Ithaca and only working 9 to 5 every day. And then my husband was in the library, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll just go home, to my apartment now. I just needed more to do. Like, I am such a busybody. I have so much energy that I need to always be doing something. So while I was working on Wall Street, I had, as you mentioned, I had an idea to start a hat company because, as I mentioned, I'm from Maryland, and I would always go to the Preakness and steeplechases and all kinds of fun horsey events where all the girls would wear a hat. And so once I got to New York, I mean, as we all know, it's a fortune to live there, and I was just a single girl. Then we started going to the Belmont and to other, fun horsey things in Far Hills, New Jersey. And then in the Hamptons, they have all these fun polo and steeplechase things that all the girls need to wear a hat to. And I was as a single girl living in Manhattan, I was half the time I was okay, should I pick up my dry cleaning or should I eat dinner tonight? I mean, that was how tight my budget was because, rent is through the roof. Everything's through the roof in New York.
Of course.
So, yeah. So I would go to stores and look for a cute, affordable hat. And I would go into, a store and I would see a great big sequency, feathery hat for $700. And I'm like, I don't need that. I just need a cute straw hat that's $75.
Yeah.
And so I saw a market for girls like me. And I was somebody needs to start this business. And I'm but I don't have time. I've got a full-time job, So then when we were in Ithaca, I was oh, wait a second. I have time on my hands now. I think I'm going to start this thing. Plus, I was around all these really a lot of people were there to start businesses and working in the career services office. I caught the entrepreneurial bug also. So yeah. I was I'm going to do this. So I literally went back to Manhattan, pounded the pavement of the garment district with $500 in my pocket. And I just made it happen. I found, I sourced everything that I needed. I found my people. I found my material. I found my fabric. I found all my, the different findings that I was going to put on the hats. So I just made it happen. And that's just kind of how my life has been. If I have an idea, I just run with it. I don't even talk about it. I just put it into motion and make it happen without even talking about it. It's what are you doing? Oh my gosh. So that's just how I've always been. Yeah. So that's how it all started in the first place.
Well, I love that. And I love what you said about, when I have an idea, I just run with it because I do think that there's a lot of us that have ideas and that don't give them any of the attention that sometimes they deserve, right? Especially if it's an idea that keeps sort of nudging at you. And, I mean, I think that's that's intuition. That's the universe trying to tell us maybe you should think about this. And sometimes they're crazy ideas, but that's how things come about, right? I mean,
exactly.
There's really no crazy ideas. It's just, listening to your intuition, listening to that little nudge and saying, you know what's the worst that could happen if I try?
Exactly. And I say, and this is probably the worst advice in the whole world to give everyone, but don't think about it too much. Just do it. I mean, that's what I do. I just do it, get it started. Of course, you're going to have problems, but if you sit back and you think about all the problems before you start it, then you're going to talk yourself out of it. You're going to have a million problems, but you're going to face them and you're, one day at a time. Oh my gosh, this went wrong. Okay, let's put this fire out. Let's put this fire. You're going to have 100, no matter what business you start, you're going to have so many problems, and just dive in and then just take each problem one at a time.
Yeah, exactly. Because no matter what you think is going to happen, it's going to be a million other things that happen and not that one thing.
Exactly.
Right. So
oh my gosh, exactly.
yeah. So,
Yes.
okay. So
And
then,
and your plan A usually 9 times out of 10 doesn't work out. So I always say life is all about plan B, plan C, plan D, and so on.
exactly. Which again, so that makes sense because your plan A, which I love this, like your plan A was hats, and that's how you started your business. But then you realize, like, okay, these are really hard to transport.
Yeah.
This is, and you had again that nudge saying, maybe I should try jewelry. Why not? And then you did,
Yep.
and that's where you really realized that that's where your passion is, and that's where the market exploded for you. So tell us a little bit about that.
So I started thinking about getting into jewelry so let's fast forward here. So my husband graduated. He is from Philadelphia. So we moved here. I really didn't want to move to Philadelphia, but I'm so glad he brought me here because I absolutely love it here. There's all kinds of awesome people like you here.
Yay.
So we moved to Philadelphia. At this point, we have 2 babies, and I'm going back and forth to New York with the babies. I would have a baby in the stroller, a baby in the baby Bjorn, and I'm going to all my millinery is like the art of hat. So a milliner is a hat maker. So I was going to all of my millinery stores and getting all of my equipment, if you will. And there were these bead stores that were in the garment district that they just sucked me in. Like it was like a magnet pulling me in. And I would just, oh my gosh, I would die over all of these beads. And I would just buy, the most beautiful beads and then put the kids in the car, drive back to Philadelphia. And before I would start making the hats, I was starting to make jewelry. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. Maybe I should put the hats on the back burner for a little while and just focus on the jewelry because it's so much easier. It's just not as cumbersome as the hats. Like the hats took up so much room. And I had at that time, and then very soon right after I had 3 car seats in the car. I had the strollers, I had the baby joggers, I had all the equipment. So I'm like, I don't even know where I'm going to fit the hats in the car when I'm schlepping them around from place to place. So the jewelry is just smaller and easier to transport. And jewelry is a much easier sell. So I put the hats on the back burner and I actually just brought them back about 3 years ago.
Yeah. And I saw recently on your, social media, Instagram, that the hats were like a huge splash. Weren't you at like Paris Hilton's bridal shower with the hats?
I was. Yeah.
Like how cool is that?
I know.
So cool.
I made a hat for Kathy Hilton, who I know. And she, I did a collab over the summer with these influencers and I sent her one of them and her daughter, Nikki, like instantly stole the hat from her. And then Paris stole the hat from Nikki. And then, so I guess that's how Paris heard of me in the first place. And then when it was time for her bridal shower, she wanted something like something interactive that the guests, the ladies at the shower could do. And she thought of me and she asked if I would come out and be there to make hats for all the ladies on the spot. And I went and I took some people from my team, my awesome team, and we had the best time. It was so fun.
I mean, it looked so fun. And the hats made everybody at that bridal shower just look absolutely fabulous.
Yes, and happy. Yeah. Everyone was so everyone had their hats on. Everyone was drinking champagne and laughing, and it was so much fun. And it was just such a happy, wonderful day.
Yeah, it looked like it was. And everybody looked like they were just so excited about their hats because they matched their outfit. I mean, that's just such a fabulous idea. So anyway, so that's super fun. So you brought the hats back and the jewelry. So your signature items of jewelry. I mean, I always think of your gorgeous earrings when I think of your jewelry, but I know you have necklaces, you have everything. Would you say you have like a signature item of your jewelry line?
You know what? It changes. So I feel like at very first, it was these statement necklaces. I would
Okay.
do these mother of pearl necklaces, like these double strand necklaces. And then when I started doing earrings, my turquoise tassel, I feel like that is sort of what put me on the map on a national level. And then when I created our ginger earring, I mean, that we've done every variation of that known to mankind, and it just keeps selling and selling and selling. So we're just keeping, coming up with new fun ideas and different variations of the ginger. So
I
she's
do
still
love the
going
ginger.
strong, Miss Ginger.
Yeah.
And I named
She's
her,
a hot
and I
one.
named her, she is, well, I named her after Ginger on Gilligan's Island, which cracks me
I
up.
love it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's always evolving. It's like, I feel like it's like every season we have a new hot ticket.
I love it. What's the hot ticket this season?
Oh my gosh. Well, we have our Natalie's are huge. We do those in pretty much every color.
Okay.
We're doing, we are bringing back felt hats, which are selling like crazy. We have these new beaded bracelets, which I'm obsessed with. I never leave home without them. You stack them. They're kind of like different size beads of stretchy bracelets. And I stack like 3 or 4. And those are hot right now. We're getting those in by almost the thousands, and we're selling out like immediate, like when they get to our office, they're already all sold. So we can't get them in fast enough. Yeah.
I love a stacking bracelet. I mean, it's just
Me too.
awesome. So great.
Yeah.
Okay. So
same here.
all of these amazing pieces. Your business is super successful right now. Tell us about a time though, was there a time, in the last 20 years? You're a mom, you have 3 kids, you're a wife. Was there a time in that 20 years where you thought to yourself, you know what? I just can't do this. It's too hard. It's too much. It's not for me. Or no, is this something that you just always?
I have this, like, I don't even know how to explain it. I just have this like forging passion to keep going and just to grow and grow and grow and make it bigger and better. However, COVID really, really was a disaster. And I never have said I'm throwing in the towel, but I almost had to. All of my financial people were like, you got to shut down. You got to file Chapter 11. You have to let all your employees go. And I love my employees so much. I was like, I will not let any of them go. I held on to them. It was the scariest time of my entire life. I barely slept. My hair fell out. I was scared out of my mind. I was like shaking all the time. For months and months. I every day I woke up and I felt like I was going to throw up all day long because I was so scared out of my mind. But we held on. And thank goodness for all of my wonderful customers out there, because we sell to hundreds of stores throughout the United States and the Caribbean. And of course, all of them were closed for 4 to 6 to some of them 8 months. A lot of them went under. A lot of them didn't even reopen.
Yeah.
And so we had to the only thing that kept us going was our retail sales. And I thank God for all the ladies and the husbands and the boyfriends and the brothers and everybody who came through and purchased on our website, because that's the only thing that kept us alive. Barely. I mean, we were hanging on by a hair follicle there, but we
a hair follicle
was hair.
Yeah,
we literally were hanging on by a hair follicle. And
when would you say it turned around for you? Like when do you think you realized, like, okay, because I can only imagine, how scary that was. I mean, obviously all these small businesses, I was
hoping that last holiday season it was going to pick up, but it didn't really, because of course, holiday season is always good for us. So it was good in that I could still make payroll and still pay for the supplies, but that was it. I didn't have anything left over. It was horrendous. because no one was going to holiday parties. And
Exactly.
I really profit off of, women buying their earrings and their handbags to
Yes,
go
of
to
course.
holiday parties and, all kinds of events throughout the holiday season, and then some, like all throughout the winter. So no one was going to anything. So I lost a huge portion of sales because of that. So I would say I started to feel better about it. And we started to turn a corner, I would say maybe in March.
Okay.
I was definitely still freaking out in February. January and February were bad. And then I feel like in March, I started to see a little teeny glimmer of light, in the distance. And I thought, okay, you know what? We might actually make it through this.
Yeah. Oh gosh. So crazy. So, and
Yeah.
that's really about a year, like
Yep.
a year's time that you had that.
Yeah.
And so I can imagine how stressful and everything that was. And, you know what though? It just speaks to, how passionate you are about your business and what you're doing and your employees. And, sometimes just having faith over
Yeah.
fear that you're going, that it will turn and that it's going to happen. And you did that and came out on the other side and,
Yeah.
and now you're, super successful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's amazing.
it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears over the last 20 years. That's for sure. It has not been easy by any stretch of the imagination, but I wouldn't change it for anything.
So what would be a piece of advice that you would give to someone who is listening to this right now and has an idea in their head or might be thinking about, a gap in the marketplace that they saw, just like you did, or, wanting to start their own business, but is sitting there telling themselves, oh, not me. I can't do that I'm sure there's a million reasons because that's what we all do. Tell ourselves all the reasons why we can't do something. What would be your piece of advice for someone who is thinking that right now?
You gotta tell yourself that you can do it. Of course you can. Why can't you? Of course you can. There's no reason you can't. We're all busy. You can, if you have a full-time job and you have this idea, carve out a few hours, every night, carve out hours on the weekend. If it takes off, you're going to be working that much anyway. So you might as well just dive in. And like I said, it's probably horrible advice, but don't think, just do it. Just dive in and do it.
I don't think it's horrible advice. I think that's great advice. We all overthink way too much,
Yes.
and so,
I don't. I am
love
one of
it.
those people who doesn't overthink. I'm like, let's just get the job done.
Yes, let's just do it. Right.
Yeah.
And I always say when people say why, like, oh, why are you doing this? Or why are you doing that? My answer is why not?
Why not?
Why not? Because, life's too short.
Yeah. Let's get it done.
Let's get it done. I love it.
You gotta follow your dreams or else you'll regret it later. Just do it.
Absolutely. Okay. So share with us. So you're in this beautiful creative world of jewelry. Is there a certain designer? Because I know you do handbags and jewelry. Is there a certain designer that you admire?
I am really a funny person. I barely know who any other designers are. Like, I don't even care. I barely know what the trends are or anything. I just do what I like. But I mean, I've always loved Chanel. I mean, I think Chanel has just such a classic, beautiful, elegant, look. And I think Coco Chanel was really awesome. And here's a little fun fact, and take from it what you will, but I was born on the day that Coco Chanel died.
Wow. That's interesting tidbit.
January 10th, 1971.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That's pretty crazy. There you go.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then, so tell us a little bit about what's next for Lisi Lerch, because I'd love to know sort of what the plans are for the future.
So the plans for Lisi Lerch are that I was just having this conversation with someone the other day. There's no reason why every girl, every woman from the age of 14 through 114 should not have a pair of Lisi Lerch earrings or some Lisi Lerch jewelry. We have something for everyone. We've got all kinds of price ranges. And now we just need to get out there, and we just need for every single female older than 14, 15 to know our brand and to start buying it and wearing it. And yeah, that's the goal. That's the plan.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. You guys definitely have something for everyone. Earrings are beautiful and some just such wonderful statement pieces. I will say I have several pairs of Lisi's earrings, and without fail, every time I wear them, I get compliments because they are so unique.
You.
Yes.
Good.
And they're statement pieces, and they really do complete an outfit. I mean, for sure.
And I have really wimpy earlobes and I can't wear heavy earrings. So I create earrings that I can wear. And if they're too heavy, we redo them and rework them until they're super light. So I take great pride in saying that like 9 out of 10 of our earrings are like feather weight. I mean, they're you can't even feel that you have them on. And we do clip-ons as well for the majority of our earrings. I mean, for hoops, we can't, but like for the majority of our earrings, we do clip-ons, which I have started wearing more and more because they're so easy. You know, you can pop them off when you talk on the phone. And, you know, if you want to like switch your outfit, you just pop them off. And, you know, it takes me forever to get pierced earrings on. I don't know why, but it always has. Like I said, I'm a weird person.
Oh my God, you're so funny. Well, I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. I'm so excited.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited for you. And I'm so excited to see every woman over the age of 14 in Lisi Lerch. And I would encourage, it's happening, girl. It's happening. And I would encourage all of my listeners today to check out Lisi's products. They are fabulous. You can find her at lisilerch.com. We'll obviously have a link in the show notes. And she's also on Insta at Lisi Lerch. And thank you so much, girl. Sky's the limit, baby. Sky's the limit.
Yeah, let's take it to the top.
Let's do it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening today. Please remember to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast because we would love to hear your thoughts. And we will talk to you next week. Have a good one.